Hi students, in this video I'll be going through the 2023 O-Level Mathematics Paper 1 question 5. Alright, so this is a question regarding simple interest and compound interest. So before I go through the question, I would like to do a recap on the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Alright, so let's say we have a scenario whereby there's someone with a sum of money of $100. So the principal is equals to $100. Okay, and he puts it in an investment account, and this investment account pays an interest rate of 12% per annum. Okay, so 12% per annum would translate to a interest rate of 1% per month, right? So 12% per year equals to 1% per month, all right? Okay, so let's try to do some calculation. If this interest is a simple interest, all right? So simple interest. Okay, so if you recall, simple interest, for simple interest, the interest rate will always apply. Okay, the interest is always calculated based on the principal only. Okay, so the interest is calculated based on the principal only. Okay, so for the first month, okay, the interest rate, remember the interest rate is 1% per month, right? Okay, so it will be 1% of the principal, which is $100, which will give an interest of $1 for the first month. Okay, the same thing will happen for the second month. So remember, for a simple interest, interest is calculated based on the principal only. So it's another 1% of the same $100, which will give an interest of $1. Okay, this will take place all the way to the 12th month. Okay, so it will be 1% of $100, which will give an interest of $1. Okay, so if you sum up the interest for the 12th month, then you will be able to get the total interest. So it's going to be 12 times $1, which will give us $12, right? Okay, so let's now take a look at what will happen if we are doing compound interest instead. Okay, so for compound interest, right, compound interest, okay, recall that the interest is now no longer just calculated based on the principal sum only. Okay, so it's calculated based on the principal and all previously accumulated interest. Okay, all previously accumulated interest. Okay, so let's do some simple calculation to find out how this will be like. Okay, for the first month, the interest will be the same. Okay, it will just be 1% of $100, which will give an interest of $1. Okay, this is because in the first month, there's no previously accumulated interest. Okay, so the difference will kick in the second month. Okay, for the second month, it will be still 1%. The interest rate is still 1% per month. The interest rate doesn't change. Okay, but now instead of multiplying by just $100, it's going to be 100 plus all previously accumulated interest. So $1 from the first month's interest. Okay, so this will actually give a slightly bigger interest, okay, for the second month. So you can see that from the second month onwards, the interest is going to be more already. Okay, so let's do one more month of calculation. Okay, so in the third month, it's going to be 1% times the principal plus interest from the first month plus interest from the second month. Okay, and this is going to give an even bigger interest, because as you can see now, the base at which the interest is being calculated is getting bigger and bigger, right? So it's going to give an interest of 1.0201 for the third month. Okay, so you can see that the interest is now getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so in total, okay, the total interest, okay, based on what is happening over here, we can see clearly that the total interest is definitely going to exceed $12, which is the total interest that you will get if you were to do simple interest instead. Okay. Okay, so as you can see here, because compound interest is calculated based on the principal and all previously accumulated interest within the same time frame and with the same interest rate, okay, compound interest is going to give you a bigger total interest at the end of the period of time. Okay. Okay, so now having this piece of knowledge, let's take a look at the O-level question. Okay, so the O-level question states that there's this person called Ravi. He invests 4,500 at a rate of 0.25% per month compound interest. So explain why the first year interest is not 3% of 4,500. Okay, so if they say 3% of 4,500, they are implying that it's simple interest. Okay, simple interest. Okay, so if you do the calculation, okay, so you can actually write it by the side. Okay, 3% of 4,500 simple interest would mean, okay, will actually mean, okay, 3% divided by 12 will actually give you 0.25%, right? So it actually means 0.25% simple interest per month on the $4,500. Okay, so now we can clearly see now the interest rate is the same. Okay, so if one is simple interest, the other one is compound interest. Okay, Ravi's one is compound interest, right? It's going to definitely give a greater total interest by the end of the first year. Okay, because the interest from the second month onwards on a per month basis, right? As we can see from the example that I gave you on a per month basis, okay, the interest is definitely going to be larger and larger, okay, for each subsequent month. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing. Okay, let's take a look at all right, so let's try to phrase the answer. Okay, so based on what we have understood, okay, so what we can say is that the interest, okay, earned by Ravi for each month okay, so we are basically going to explain okay, that Ravi's one is compound interest, right? And what does this compound interest entail? Okay, so the interest earned by Ravi for each month is calculated based on uh, the principal and all previously accumulated interest and will, okay, over here, and will exceed exceed 3% of $4,500 in total for the first year. Right? Okay, so basically, when you are answering explanation questions in the O level, okay, you've got to be very clear about the idea behind the concept. Okay, so if you are not clear about the idea behind the concept, it's actually rather difficult for you to be able to answer in a manner whereby your answer is clear and easily understood, right? So what we will say is that the interest earned by Ravi for each month is calculated based on the principal, which is 4,500, and all previously accumulated interest. Okay, that means from the previous month, and it will definitely exceed 3% of 4,500 in total after 1 year. Okay. Okay, so for part B, okay, they want us to calculate the value of the his investment at the end of 12 months. Okay, so remember over here that he's doing compound interest. Okay, so we need to apply the formula for compound interest. So the formula for compound interest is the total amount, okay, will be equals to the principal multiplied by 1 plus r over 100 to the power of n. Okay, so over here, r will be the interest rate, okay, which is 0.25% per month. Okay, and n will be the number of times that is being compounded in 12 months. So if you are compounding once per month, so in 12 months, you will be compounding 12 times. So in this case, you must be careful that n is 12. Okay, so n is not the number of years, right? N is not the number of years. It's the number of times that you compound within the period that you are considering. Okay, so the principal is 4,500, 1 plus interest rate is 0.25% per month over 100 to the power of 12. Okay, so if you do the calculation, you actually end up with the answer of 4636.87, right? 4636.87. Okay, so I would like to just expand a little bit on this part. Okay, so if you do the calculation for this part, okay, let's calculate 0.25 over 100 plus 1 to the power of 12. It actually gives you this number of 1.03042. Okay, so 1.03042, if we were to subtract away 1, we will actually get the interest rate, right? Okay, for 1 year based on this compounding of 0.25% per month. Okay, so we will actually get 0.03042. Okay, so if you convert this to percentage, right? Okay, 0.03042 times 100%, right? Okay, in percentage terms, it will be 3.042%. So you can see, for simple interest, it's just 3% per year. Okay, but based on compounding, you actually get a total interest of 3.042% per year if it's based on compound interest. That's why you will end up with slightly more interest, okay, at the end of 1 year by doing compounding, right? Okay, so I hope that this video has been able to explain to you clearly, okay, the difference between simple and compound interest. Okay, so the idea of compound interest is that the interest is calculated based on the principal and all previously accumulated interest, whereas simple interest is always calculated based on the principal only. So compound interest is definitely going to give you a bigger interest rate if your interest rate is the same and over the same time period, right?